All right. All right. Here we are. This is Hack Nation. Hack Nation Live. I'm your host, Aaron Bennett. I come to you guys every Wednesday night from 7 to 9. See how many people I can help in this industry. Take my Wednesday nights and give it back to the community. Um, Guys, if you follow me for any length of time, you're probably already well aware what I'm doing here. But if you aren't aware, every Wednesday night from 7 to 9, I come live for about 2 hours, and there's a whole community of people, other mechanics, and people, and owner operators, and just people in general in this industry that all come together and try and help out as many people as we can. Someone from TikTok, Richard, says, I'm aware that you're out here giving bad advice to people. I'm aware that you're a fucking retard and you don't have to watch this show. So go somewhere else. Nobody cares. Anyway, whether I give bad advice or not, Richard, I don't see you doing anything for anybody. So why would anybody care what you have to say? Anyway, guys, don't have a special guest tonight. We had a couple people lined up. Just people get busy. It kind of is what it is. It doesn't bother me too much. I have a lot of fun doing these shows anyway. I love the commenters. I love all of that kind of stuff. The call line is open, guys. The number to call in is 573-422-4225. If you're watching this from TikTok, we recommend going over to Facebook. It's a better experience over there, but we do keep it interactive on TikTok as well. Would a REC AFA rebuild kits or loaded heads? Would you recommend AFA rebuild kits or loaded heads? Yeah, I mean, Richard got my live flagged for hate speech. Funny, he can come here and talk down on me, but I can't defend myself. Thank you, TikTok. You're the greatest. I talk about. It seems like somebody brings AFA up to me every single week, guys. I'm going to say what I've said from the beginning. That we have extensively tested products. In fact, speaking of testing products, our R&D truck is heading out in the morning finally. There's a whole mix of R&D going on there, guys. We have piston crowns that we did here in house. We have piston crowns that were done by another company, and it's going to be really interesting to see how everything comes together. We kind of already know how our piston crowns are going to hold up because we already have a bunch of R&D on those. The coatings that I personally do here, and the 73-year-old man that does coatings with me, we've been 100% on our coatings. So really more curious to see what happens with these other coatings, these industrial coatings that are being done outside of here. So it should be pretty interesting. This whole truck is put together 100% with the stuff that we're getting ready to release. We got, coated turbos, coated manifolds, the special cylinder head on there. Got all the cool bells and whistles on. It's going to be pretty cool to see how it works out. We're going to go put 7,000 miles on it. I hired a professional driver. Although there's quite a few professional drivers here. There's about half of the people that work for me in the shop as mechanics or CDL holders as well. We're just always so backed up. I can't afford to give up somebody that has the skill set of doing engines with me to have them go drive around the truck. We just hired a truck driver to do that. So, but back to the question. Through all of this, guys, we did a lot of extensive testing on everybody's kits. And again, guys, using OEM as the bar, the litmus for what is or isn't an acceptable product, whether or not some guys had better stuff or not, is kind of aside from the fact that all of them could unequivocally outperform the OEM. So there you go. So, do I know specifics? Who has the best of everything? Well, yeah, I know some of those specifics. Want me to say, give away a little bit here? I'll give away one thing. In the testing that we did, when when it came to liners, there's all different aspects here, piston crowns, rods and main, stuff like that. When it came to liners, the guys that you're asking me about, they have the best liner. Surprise, surprise, motherfucker. They have the best liner. Oh, it is what it is. But I don't want to come on here and say this guy had something better than this guy. The fact of the matter is I would use any of them, right? I wouldn't shy away from using any of them, really. I have my preferences, of course. But what my scope is to figure out who made the best. Instead of taking one person and rebranding their kit and pretending like it's mine, figure out who had the best of everything, put it all together, and present the best kit the world's ever seen. So I guess don't be surprised if when we release our kits here in a couple of weeks, if you see an AFA liner in there. Don't be surprised. I only cared about who had the best and who would cooperate in helping us build the best kit. Do you have any experience with the PAI compound turbo kit for the ISX? I think you mean the PDI one. I don't think PAI makes a compound turbo kit for the ISX. We do have one caller. I want to take him real quick, guys, and make sure my phone line's working. Looks like you got a question about timing wedges on an ISX. Hey, you're on the air, man. Let's see if the phone lines are working.
What's going on, Aaron?
Not much. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So I'm overall in this ISX. However, I got some aftermarket timing wedges. I'm just asking if there's a difference between it and the OEM, or you're gonna get the same result either way, or should I get the OEM?
I have both here. We use both. I don't have a problem with either one. I've never had a problem because we didn't use OEM ones. So I assume you'd be fine. We use both. A lot of guys that work here will eventually buy a lot of those type of tools. If they're doing a lot of Cummins.
Yep.
And I don't expect them to buy OEM ones. If they want to buy, off of freaking Amazon, is what it is, as long as it comes out right?
Yeah. Yep. The OEMs are like 800 and the aftermarket is like 200. So,
right.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah. That was just my question.
And I haven't ever bought any from Cummins, so I shouldn't say I've ever bought any OEM ones. I have bought some from reputable places like Apex and stuff like that, right? But I've never actually bought any from Cummins ever. So, and I have paid a way bigger price tag. I don't think I've ever paid $800, but I've paid a way bigger price tag for timing wedges than, say, Amazon might have them for. But I've never had a problem with any of them, and I don't think I've ever used an OEM one. Come to think of it.
Okay.
See you tonight.
Bye.
Deleted NXS single turbo. Can you talk about the 18-to-1 versus a 16-to-1 compression ratio when doing a rebuild? Well, if you're going to delete it, you almost have to go and make it into a 16-to-1. And, the engine is designed, the VVAs, right before combustion, will open the intake exhaust valve and let in extra fresh air. And that is to cool the combustion temperature right before combustion, and thereby reducing NOx emission. And when it does that, it needs higher compression to still put out the same load. So you delete the VVA, leave everything the way it is. You are no longer doing that portion of it, and the combustion temperatures go through the roof, 20% higher. And you end up with cracked out heads and liners walking around this and that. Now, if you go to a 16-to-1 and leave the twin compound setup, the pressures are so high, you really do a number on them then. If you're going to do it, not recommending you do, right? If you're going to do it, you got to go all the way. Go all the way and turn it back into basically what a 6NZ would be. That's the correct way to do it. If you don't do it that way, you're going to be plagued by all kinds of problems. Top Flight Garage says, I use the Amazon timing wedges for 2 engines for a front timing structure jobs. Both engines have been running for years. Oh, I forgot we're streaming on Instagram as well. Yeah, guys, if you want to call into the show, the number to call in is 573-422-4225. That's 573-422-4225. If you want to be a part of the show, you have some question you want to ask, the comment section is great, guys, but if you call in, it kind of is beneficial to everybody, and everybody can kind of maybe benefit. Maybe somebody's having the exact same problem as you, and maybe we can get your question answered, and maybe somebody else. So we have a few callers here. We'll go ahead and take them. Comment sections aren't really blowing up with a bunch of good questions anyway. So you're on the air, Aaron Isaac, it looks like.
Yeah, I've been watching you for a while. I got a question for you. Have you ever seen a Caterpillar 6Z right at their manifold where people normally take flex pipe? I seen one shatter the other day. I'm like, what the world? What would cause that where you're more experienced?
Shatter where? You mean the manifold itself shattered?
On the flex pipe. The flex pipe shattered.
Oh. And flex pipes will come apart from age because they have a bunch of joints in them, and they're very quick to rust, very quick to fall apart. And a lot of shops don't use stainless. It's really expensive to get the stainless flex pipe. We use all stainless here, but a lot of guys, it looks like stainless, but a lot of guys maybe don't even know they're using just mild steel, brushed steel or whatever flex pipe, and it rusts out right away. I'd say 90% of the trucks that come in here have flex pipe like that. We use all stainless to avoid that, but that stuff corrodes super fast and degrades super fast. And just regular old pressures will blow holes in it.
That's why I kind of figured like it didn't look right, because I understand where a turbo gets hot on and off, but figuring with it being a flex pipe, it wouldn't be half as bad.
No, the flex pipes suffer the worst because they're able to trap moisture and all kinds of debris, and the stuff coming out of your exhaust is pretty damn corrosive in the first place, can be, so they can suffer pretty bad. Flex pipe is usually the weak point on everything.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
all I needed.
All right, brother. Have a good night, man.
You too.
Bye. Oh, man. I bought a 14389 with a 485 horsepower ISX. Hasn't been opened yet, and it's deleted. Do you believe that? 900,000. Yeah, I believe that. It's not unheard of at all, guys, to see a ISX with 1 million miles on it, even if it is deleted. A lot of it depends on who deleted it. More of it depends on who was driving it. Hell of a lot depends on how it was maintained. I can tell you right now, I believe unequivocally, if I bought a fleet of 10 X15s, the odds of them all making it to 1 million miles if I owned them would be incredibly high, despite the fact of them being prone to problems. Anyway, your experience with the cold in North Dakota, what have you found that worked best in block heaters, magnetic oil pan heater, or maybe an inline radiator hose heater? Inline radiator hose heaters don't do shit. They just don't do shit. They can't. I don't know. They don't do shit. I put them on some trucks. They don't do nothing. You got to have that block heater. The best block heaters are the ones that go into the back of the oil cooler. or depending on what truck, right into the side of coolant. They're actually heating the block, not trying to heat the coolant, so it's not so dependent on trying to heat up the radiator, so to speak. You want a good block heater, 100%. All of my trucks in Alaska, North Dakota, always had these items on them. Battery maintainer, incredibly important. I'm talking like a little trickle charger that keeps your batteries from freezing. Block heater, she'll never start without it. So block heater, oil pan heater, and usually a transmission oil heater too, but at minimum an oil pan heater on there. So that would be the main three that I would worry about for sure. Trickle charger, block heater, oil pan heater, she'll start every time. 30 below, she'll start up for you. As long as that block heater is working, everything's working, even like at 30 below, she will start for you. Anyway, we got a hell of a lot of callers lined up here. Let's go ahead and start taking them. Brian Barnes, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, I got a 84 359 with a B model cat that's water jacketed, and I was pulling through Montana, and it pushed, I don't know, from Great Falls to about Missoula. It pushed about 3 gallons of coolant out of the little blow-by tube. Put some coolant in it, got into Idaho, went over the passes there, and topped it off again because it pushed more coolant out. I tried these little water bottle tricks through the overflow tube, and it wasn't pushing any bubbles. I limped it back home to Western Washington and had a pressure tested to see if it was a head gasket or anything. Nothing's coming back. The truck runs fine and drives fine and pulls loads fine on flat ground, but as soon as you start pushing hills, it'll start wanting to heat up and push coolant. Any
So when you
thoughts?
when you say it blows coolant out the little blow-by tube, are you talking about the little tube that comes off of your radiator? Or are you talking about your actual blow-by tube that comes out of your engine?
I'm sorry, yeah, the one that comes off the radiator where the radiator cap's at.
Okay, so have you recently had work done to it?
No, it's surprisingly the factory engine. It probably has close to $1 million on it. It has slight blow-by. It's not pressurized or anything like that. The only thing that I recently have done to the engine is I just replaced the water pump, the thermostat, and the radiator cap. And then probably about a week later, that's when this came up.
Why were you doing that stuff?
I replaced the water pump because it started pushing water out of the little weep hole on the side of the water pump.
Okay, and how much coolant?
So
how much coolant did you have to add? What's the most you've had to add to it?
Every time I pulled a hill, there's probably about 3 gallons.
I don't mean since you had this problem, before the problem, back with the water pump.
Back with the water pump, never. The thing barely would get to. It'd probably just stay at 180, 190, unless I was pulling a grade, and then it'd jump up and just till like 200 degrees when the fan kicks on. I never had to add coolant to it.
Okay, so
this is the first that this produced itself.
Here's the thing. Obviously, if an engine has a lot of age, this would be the exception of what I'm getting ready to say, right? So it could just be wore the fuck out, in other words. But in all the years I've done this, right, in all the engines that I've seen, I have never seen a head gasket fail for the head gasket's sake. And if you've watched me for any length of time, you've probably heard me say that. And I don't just say that just to say it. It's the truth, right? I've never seen a head gasket fail just for the head gasket's sake, just to fail. There's always an external event of some kind that makes the head gasket go. And it usually takes the head with it. The head's actually usually not worth even trying to salvage. And so I've never seen miracle problems unless it was shortly after a rebuild or something and it's an installation error of some kind, right? But no engine goes 40,000, 50,000, 100,000 miles and then magically the head gasket fails. It has to be some external event causes it to fail unequivocally. It's without exception, right? Now your engine it's original, never been opened. You could have something else going on. A liner could have dropped at this point. You could have pinholes in the liners. That thing was running back when green coolant was the only thing that existed. Could have a bunch of cavitational erosion, this and that. But most of the time it correlates to some kind of an event. And you're telling me, oh, I changed the water pump, I changed the radiator cap. So it sounds like you were having some kind of a problem, right? It most likely correlates somehow that magically after you had to do coolant related work to it, now you're blowing a bunch of coolant out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
no, when I did the coolant or when I did the water pump, it was just I pulled over at a stop to get unloaded, and I just noticed coolant was coming out of that weep hole, so I just replaced that. And with that style, it has that O-ring that slides in from the thermostat housing that slides into the back of the water pump, and it had that O-ring, so I replaced all that. And while I was there, I just decided, I'm here, might as well do it now instead of do a new thermostat stuff now while I'm here type deal. That's the only reason why I did all that.
I understand, and I don't not believe you, right? I'm not here to try to help people, not accuse people of things, but it's almost it's an aggravating thing for me being a shop owner that about 100% of people that talk to me won't ever admit to any event happening of any kind because it's a negative connotation on the owner, operator, or the driver. So it's always a challenge to try and, well, I mean, is there some kind of an event and this guy won't tell you because guys are very, very prone to not, guy will bring his truck and I never got it hot. And I hooked the computer up to it and it says it got so hot it lost oil pressure. And it literally happened like 2 days ago. I've never got it hot, but anyhow, so it seems very sus that you have this coolant related issues and now you have, so there's a huge correlation there, right? So I don't know what you have going on, but if you didn't burn up the head somehow, you're super confident the thing never got overheated, then you most likely have an age-related cavitational erosion problem that's related to the liners, and it's going to need an in-frame overhaul. And with the kind of age that's probably on it, you're looking at a head anyway. Either way, you're going to have to open it up. This isn't something you're going to cure without opening it up.
Yeah, and that's why another reason why I actually kind of want to just drive it down to you and have you guys do the work on it. I'm going to try getting a hold of your guys' trying to get a hold of your guys so that way I can get on the books to get it out there and get it done. I like your work and I like everything you do, so I'd rather drive it out to you and have you do it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, you just call the office. We have a whole call center now for. We were having a lot of problems there because everybody was calling the same place to order parts from us and also get on our board and just questions in general and just anything. And now we've fixed that and we have a call center with 4 people working in it, plus the 2 gals that just do intake for engines. I know a lot of people talk about, oh, you're so hard to get a hold of. For the past 5 days, we've pretty much cured all that. So we're a lot easier to get a hold of now. I mean, the girls are staying here till 9 o'clock at night, just calling people back. It was insane. So, yeah, if you give us a call, we're a lot easier to get a hold of now. So, yeah, hit us up. We'll give you a quote on fixing that thing up, and it's probably not too big of a deal, but who knows? I mean, how many miles are actually on it?
The original odometer when I replaced it was 7 1/4, and then since I've owned the truck, I put 165 on it, so it's up there around 1 million.
Yeah. Well, all right. We'll call the girls.
But
they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'll have to give them a call. I appreciate your time.
Yep. Have a good night, man.
You too.
Right. Yeah. Seriously. What is your name? My name's Aaron, man. Aaron Bennett. That's my name. The Bennett Truck Center guys and the Bennett Media guys on social media. Those are my sons. Thanks for hiring more office people. Yeah, we were having a really big problem. I mean, we were aware of it. According to our we have systems set up that have like a call tracker and recorder and like any professional place should. That thing was saying we're missing 60 to 100 phone calls a day, and we feel like we're answering the phone nonstop. It was just a shit show, guys. Holy cow. But yeah, we've cleaned that up. We have professional people handling our call center. They actually work out of Bennett Truck Center, or out of Bennett Media. Actually, they have an office complex there, and we have some good help. So everything's gotten a lot better in that regard. We have a shit ton of callers, guys. So I'm gonna have to stick with the callers here. I do like to do the comment section as much as I can. I see a lot of people commenting on Instagram, which I appreciate, but there's 8 callers in the queue. We're going to go to them. Guys, if you want to call in, it's 573-422-4225. We're going to roll till 9, guys. I would like to try to get out of here at 9, but we're going to roll till 9 so we have room for more callers. You want to call in, and we'll get to you as fast as we can. Can't wait to use one of your kits one day. Well, one day is going to be about 10 days from now. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing me fucking say that. But there's been a lot of developments in the last couple days to facilitate expediting that process. So we had a lot of last minute negotiations in the last 2 days that have been pretty wild for us, really wild for us. But we think it's all out of the way now. We have a kit coming for pretty much, or kits, I should say, kits coming for pretty much every engine out there, guys. Your single cam ISXs, your N14s, your big cams, 60 series Detroits, the 14 liter 12.7, all the cats. The only cat we're not going to have right this minute is your 16-1. There's been a 30-day delay on that. But everything else inside of 10 days, we're going to have available. So do you just sell rod and main Teflon coated kits? Do we sell just the rods and mains? Yes, sir. We do. We also do a hell of a lot of kits for people. We're probably doing 3 or 4 a day. People like, oh, I only use the Interstate McBee, but I really want your coatings. Okay, no problem. We'll line you up with a McBee kit. We'll line you up with a PAI kit. We'll line you up with any kit you want. We coated 3 AFA kits today. We coated a couple McBee kits yesterday and a couple PAI kits. IPD kits. I've coated 5 IPD kits in the last week. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to wait for our kits. Our kits are going to be better, obviously. Ours are all our wrist pins that come in the kits are isotropic super finished. There's a lot more to them. They come with like on your cat, they come with your isolators and your top stuff, and they come with everything that you should get in your kit anyway. And they have the best shit in them. But like I've always said, it's not like anybody out there is making a kit like, oh, I wouldn't use that. I tested them all and we've used them all, and there's not a kid out there that I wouldn't use that. So I have no problem coating kits of any stripe and standing behind them. You pretty much can't name a kit besides PDIs that I don't have out there running around right now with our coatings on it. So, and I hired a really awesome guy. He started a couple weeks ago. He's 73 years old, Vietnam vet. He's been coating stuff his whole life. Man, he's been the greatest. I don't have to do quite so much of it myself anymore. Really appreciating him. We'll have to get him in some videos here. All right, guys, back to the calls. You're on the air, man. What can we do for you?
Hey, man, this is Eric Thomas. You did my N14 for me. I am kind of wondering if I can't end up putting there's a seal between 2 and 3 that is leaking in the N14. I don't know why it just started leaking, but it did. I was wondering if I can do that on my own without voiding the warranty. I was supposed to hear back from one of the girls that called yesterday, and I have not heard back from her. And I was kind of wondering because I need to leave back out Monday.
They literally texted me while I was starting this show, your number, and said, you need to call this guy. But I texted
Yeah, I
I,
figured.
I had texted him yesterday when they asked me about it, and I said, "Hey, it's his engine. He can do whatever he wants." But I understand the concern. I understand the concern, and I appreciate it. We don't have a
Yeah, you
problem.
did such a good job. I just didn't want to screw something up. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
I
mean,
didn't. I mean, you guys did a beautiful job on the motor.
but if you want to take it somewhere and have, you're worried about your ability to do it yourself, which if you do, I understand. If you want to take it somewhere, have that place call us and we'll figure it out with them, and we'll do it for you from afar. You know what I mean? It's not a problem.
Okay, well, if that's what you want me to do, but I think I can do it on my own, Aaron. I mean, it doesn't look like it's that hard of a deal.
Are you talking about the tubes that go?
Yes, between 2 and 3, the water tubes. Yes,
those can be a bitch.
You take a bolt out, you slide it over, and you put it in.
Those can be a bitch. I mean, and it might just go smooth for you. Totally up to you, man. That wouldn't void your warranty by any measure. Now, here's what would void your warranty. Okay, let's say you tried let's say you didn't fix it at all, or you tried to fix it, or any of those scenarios, and you're just dumping coolant out and you just drive it till it blows up. We wouldn't warranty that.
I would never do that.
Right?
I would never do that.
Right, but if you tried to fix it yourself and it didn't work out, and you need to take it somewhere, or you need to bring it here, I don't give a shit. You tried to fix it and you couldn't. It still leaks after we touched it. We'll fix it, right?
Okay.
But yeah, if you want to give it a wing yourself and it doesn't work out, and then on round 2, take it to somebody else and we'll take care of it.
I wish you were closer, brother, but everybody around here wants an arm and a leg to fucking do shit. And they all, you know how it is. They're all backed out 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's not the hardest job in the world. It can, if you're not used to doing them, it might leak after you're done. But what's the worst that can happen? It leaks now, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
But
that's kind of what I was thinking. And I bought extra O-rings. I bought 6 to replace 1, just in case.
I mean, obviously, if anybody has 2 brain cells to rub together, they'd have to figure out that everybody can't bring warranties back to us. It's just not realistic. And our warranty wording says you have to bring it back here, but that is because that's just for legal reasons. That's to protect ourselves, of course. But I would say that at least 90% of our warranties are done cross shop, where we get put in touch with the shop, and most shops know who we are, and most shops are just super awesome, man, super awesome. And I
just don't trust anybody but you, brother.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is it's just our experience has been, let's say a guy like you goes to a shop and like, hey, let's call Hack Nation real quick, and I get on the phone with them and I talk to him for a minute. Usually it's a very reasonable bill, and because they probably follow me and know who I am, and they're like, oh, okay, we could probably, this is an hour job and we're $150 an hour. Like, okay, I'll pay you an hour, no big deal, and I understand that same shop might turn around and charge somebody $3,000 to fix that thing, right? But they don't do it to us for the most part. 90% of our experiences with other shops, as long as we've talked on the phone, have been absolutely phenomenal. 100%. We've had a great time with shops all over the country. So I've even had some good,
I appreciate you taking my call,
Canadian shops. But anyway, all right, man. Just let me know what you need from us, okay?
Thank you, sir. You have a good day, and you're doing awesome work.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to hear it's running good for you, other than that little thing. Man. Aaron, you sound like a great dude. Wow. Depends on who you ask, I suppose. Depends on who you ask, but I suppose that's true for probably pretty much everybody. April Martinez, you're on the air. Hello, that's you.
How's it going, brother?
Good, man.
Yeah. Been trying to get a hold of me for about a year now.
Well, you got me. Let's hit it. Let's have it. What do you got, brother?
So I started a trucking company, and I haul cars, right? Started with the Freightliner 2015 7-car hauler, Detroit engine in it. Try not to take too much time. What I want to do is try to get that truck to you guys somehow, some way, because everybody in Colorado, I'm from Colorado, all the mechanics here, I got it deleted. There was a DEF system, something with the DEF system wasn't working right. The mechanic told me the best thing to do is delete it. We deleted it for about 5,500. Bunch of fuel lines were next to the exhaust, caused the mess, and all the truck is down right now. The EMC, the harness, all that's, I don't know if it's fried, it runs, but I don't know if they don't know what's wrong with it. And they said it's going to cost me 40 to 50,000 to fix it. I'm like, you crazy. Talked to the guy about he needed to fix it. He said, man, I'm just going to put it back together and you're going to have to take it to a different shop. Got in a big old argument with him. Was going to try to take him to court, but talked to a couple of mechanics. They said that won't work because you guys both be on pretty much both of you guys are getting in trouble.
Yeah, you don't want to take someone to court about deleting your truck. Anyway,
so my question is what's the best way to really get it? I know you don't do the you don't work on trucks like that. You really rebuild motors and like that, but I would like to get into your son's shop.
We work on trucks that are deleted. As long we don't delete trucks.
Okay.
That's the difference. I don't care if somebody else deleted your truck. If I had nothing to do with it and I'm just repairing your truck, I don't have a problem with that. But we won't.
Yeah. So the other trucks,
we won't deal with your delete problem. Okay. Most likely not. But
it runs. It builds up pressure, but when you go to first to second to third, it just kind of derails.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Sounds
like it don't.
Sounds like a tuning issue. But I mean, for something like what you're talking about, you're really asking me about doing some services for you. That's something you need to really call us for, right? And maybe we can get a better understanding of what you got going on, and maybe we can fix it. This isn't really one of those questions where we can try to help solve it here on this show. That's more of a can I get in, have you guys take a look at this thing? And I don't know if you make it around our area at all, but it typically costs you nothing to stop in for a minute and we'll take a look at it, and we usually can figure out what's going on with your truck in a few seconds. Did you die? Okay. I think we died. All right, moving on to the next one here. I want to answer a couple questions. One guy said, something about an N14 that caught my eye. Where was that? An N14 to get some info. Yeah, man, we so all this restructuring we've been doing at our shop has been geared towards us trying to complete. We sell a lot of engines. We always have. We've sold the most engines we've ever sold of our own have been just in the last 90 days. We've sold 23 engines in the last 90 days of our own. And it is my goal to have engines ready to go. So when people call, we have what they want already. And I have 40 blocks coming back from a machine shop in Houston just to facilitate that happening. Do I have an N14 ready to go today? I have one that is 3/4 of the way complete and can be done in about 2 weeks. And you just have to call our offices. If you look us up on Facebook, our number is the pinned post. That's an easy way to find us. I can never remember the number to our shop. Somebody's always kind enough to post it in the comments, but you would think I would know the number to my own shop. But have you done any oil samples on your Teflon coatings yet? We've done plenty of oil samples with bearings that have Teflon coatings. Absolutely. You guys need to know about our Teflon coatings. Those have been around for a little while. They have been being done. Those Teflon coatings have been being done by PAI for quite some time. Most people know that. And to do, and we know how well those Teflon coatings hold up. They, they hold up phenomenally. That's what inspired me to start looking into this kind of stuff. The coatings that they do, we mirror identically. Same product, same process, same procedure, the whole 9 yards. There's what, 6 years of history behind those Teflon coatings. We extend it to a lot more products, but as far as the rods and mains go, we're not too nervous about those guys. Those have been tried and true for a long time. We're only applying 1 mil, which is 1/1000th of an inch. You usually have around 4/1000 of variance. They don't cause any problems. They just hold up like nobody's business. We've had plenty of R&D on our own piston coatings. We're not mirroring anybody on that. We're innovating on our piston coatings. We've seen a lot of problems with piston coatings in the past. And we may see problems on these piston coatings on this R&D we're getting ready to do right now. But we know it won't be on the pistons that have our coatings on them. We've already tested the shit out of those, and they are very, very, very resilient. We were shooting a truck running with those pistons in it today with a thermal imaging gun. We got some cool videos of everything running under the thermal cameras. Really cool, guys. Really cool. Somebody asked me if we have a kit. What did he say? I'm going to come right back to the callers here. Give me 2 more seconds, guys. Do you have complete engine kits already built? Or do you have complete engines already built, or just do R&R to save time? So I guess I kind of already answered that question. We do build a lot of engines for people, custom builds, but we are working really hard to have custom builds ready to go before people call. I already tried to do this about 3 months ago, and we built 10 engines all at once, and every single one of them sold before I could finish them. I mean, I should be happy about that, but I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping to make a video saying I have an engine for sale. I've never been able to say I have an engine for sale. They always sell. The damn things always sell before I get them done. So I have a dream. To get these 40 engines in, and then I'll have a fighting chance to have an engine to sell for the first time in my life that isn't already bought before I finish it. Anyway, guys, too many callers. I'm bullshitting too much. I'm sure they're tired of hearing it. Let's get over to the callers here. Santiago, you're on the air.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man? What can I do for you?
I got a pretty easy question for you. So I've got a 5.9 Cummins 03. And so when you kick it on, I mean, that thing's super battery sensitive. Otherwise, that thing will march through hell and back. It just doesn't care. It just pulls, which is great. It's a Dodge. But when you kick on the key, not all the way on, but partially on, you hear this hissing noise, and it's supposed to be like a preheater. I have a 6.7 2017 6.7 Ford, and I put a pusher system on it, which I will say I like the pusher system. It really, really lets the airflow go in, and it's been a great improvement. It's $1,400 just for the system, but it really ups your horsepower and lets the engine breathe, because Ford had some issues with their breathing system on their box or whatever. Anyway, my question is, I go out, I jump in the Ford. I mean, does that not have a preheater? Is it quicker? What's going on there? Because I just kick the engine over and boom, it starts.
Your 5.9 has a grid heater on it. And
okay.
So we I I can't remember how the 6.7 is set up off the top of my head. I know the 5.9 has a grid heater for sure. And those grid heaters work
Mm-hmm.
really well until they don't, right? Banks makes a grid heater that's 1,000 times better, 1,000 times better than the one that comes factory on it. Your 6.7 has glow plugs, I believe, and if it's not starting, if it's having a hard time starting, what that means is that the glow plugs
Yeah,
aren't working. But somebody's
it
on here.
starts fine.
Oh, it starts fine. Somebody's saying the 6.7 has grid heaters too. I thought Cummins did all grid heaters on their stuff, but I thought I was pretty certain of that, but I wasn't certain enough to just say that. So where do these people come from? So one guy is a 6.7 Ford or a 6.7 Cummins?
The 6.7 is Ford,
Oh,
and the 5.9 is Cummins.
Okay, so your 6.7 has glow plugs. And glow plugs and grid heaters kind of do the same thing, but they kind of do the same thing. I like.
Do I need to kick on the ignition halfway and let it wait for 60 seconds?
Yes.
Because that's what I do in my Cummins.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. On any of them, you need to do that. Yep.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. I mean, like I said, I really am happy with the pusher system. It's been really good to me. It just allows the engine to breathe so much better, and I get better mileage.
Yeah.
So.
No, you gotta, and if it does have a hard time starting, you can cycle the key as well and make the glow plugs go again.
Okay, that's cool.
So
never tried that. Okay, but that's all I got, man.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
A little bit confused there for a minute, but I think we figured it out. Well, there's always got to be some jackass in the comments here. Proud to be a hack, should tell you all you need to know about this guy. Oh man, I mean, it just never ends. Peanut butter and jealous. Oh my god. Again, what are you doing for people, buddy? What are you doing for people? Nothing. Coming on here and getting down on people that are just trying to give up their time to help people out. And the only thing you can do is come on my live feed here and try and make people hate on me with you. Get a life. God, get a life. Anyway, back to the callers. Sean Whitman, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yeah, say my name. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, I'm looking at buying a truck. There's one at a local auction down here, and just going to get your opinion. It's a 2013 Mack CHU 613 with an MT8 505 Mack engine. It was the guy that had it was an old guy that retired, and I was going to give him a call, and he just died last week, so I can't even find anything out about it. His family put it on the sale, and it's coming up on an auction, so I was just going to see what you thought of it.
Well, here's what I think about Macks. The people that own Macks love Macks and think they're the best truck ever made. They're the only people that feel that way. Now, I've never owned a Mack. I've never worked on a Mack. I have worked around a lot of Macks when I was down in Georgia Georgia and South Carolina for 18 months during the 2015 oil collapse. When we were working down there, there was Macks everywhere, and them Southern boys, they love their Macks, but and they seem to be tough little trucks. I suppose what I think about a Mack, I would never be interested in one myself. They're too specialized, in my opinion. And that's the number one drawback of them, in my opinion. They're too specialized. You can't just take them anywhere. Number one. Number two, they're all pretty underpowered.
What do you mean by that? That's too specialized. I don't really understand what you mean by that. It's too specialized. You can't take them.
You're
I'm
not,
just, first of all, I'm just a rancher.
right.
So it's going to be a ranch truck for me.
Like some guy just said in the comments, it's all proprietary parts and they're a pain in the ass, right? So in other words, you're not
Gotcha.
gonna traverse the 50 states, and anywhere you go, someone's gonna help you out, right? Another guy in the
Gotcha.
comments said the
Right.
East Coast is friendly to Max, the South is friendly to Max, as well. But being a northwestern boy, I would never consider a Mac. I would have no support for it at all. And I would never want to buy a truck that's so proprietary, right? It's kind of like buying a truck with a PACCAR.
Right.
Buying a truck with a PACCAR, and it's also a mistake, in my opinion, for the same reason. It's too proprietary, and you're causing yourself needless issues by just choosing that platform. Now, if you happen to live in a part of the country where you see Macs everywhere, and it's a very common occurrence, you're probably
We do not.
then I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I wouldn't touch it.
That's kind of what I want to know. That it's got 506,000 miles on it, and what I've looked up is like that could be time for to have to get some work on it. So
Sure.
But a one order, one driver type thing, you think it's probably pretty decent, but maybe, like you said, maybe it's not worth touching.
Yeah, and you don't know how. I mean, that all comes down to how good he was on the maintenance. You have no clue, right?
Right. Not a clue. Yep.
Um,
Exactly.
I would be worried about the fact that if you don't see a lot of Macs in your area, then they're not supported. And when you
Right.
have problems with it, you're going to be woefully disappointed.
I have absolute no doubt that you're right. So I thank you very much for your opinion. That's what I was looking for.
All right, sir. Have a good night and good luck with whatever you do there.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
You bet. Bye.
All right. Stick with the callers here. Kept everyone on hold too long, running my mouth. Lyman Jennings, you're on the air, brother.
How are you doing tonight?
Amazing, man.
Me too. I got a quick question. I've called in a couple of times. I have a pack car on a 2016 Peterbilt MX-18 or 16 or whatever it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I've had so much going on today. But I was thinking about the oil bypass that you said makes engines last the longest. Is there an engine bypass or an oil bypass, I'm sorry, for the pack car that's out there that you would recommend?
Yes. You can get universal ones that will work on any engine. AMSOIL probably sells the best one for the price, and for the simplicity. And I talk about them so much, and I have to start getting them myself because I want to include them with any engine that we sell. That I've reached out to AMSOIL, and they're setting me up as a dealer for them. We're going to start making them available. I would love to see everyone in the world with one of those on their trucks, but we're going to start insisting that they go on our engines, not the engines that we in frame or whatever else, or you bring me your engine and this and that. Obviously I'm not going to force everybody to have an oil bypass system, but if you buy one of our custom engines, we're gonna make it part of the warranty. You got to have it, and we'll provide it, right? If you buy an engine from us, we're gonna give it to you. We're not gonna be like, oh, you have to buy this from us or you don't get a warranty. That's bullshit. But
Right.
You have to install it to get your warranty. We will provide it. So the price point to AMSOIL.
Well, that was my next question. Was okay. I've talked to the girls a couple of times about ordering the rebuild kit for the pack car. Mine's got 887,000 miles on it. It's deleted, but I was going to order the rebuild kit for it because I have a shop in Joplin, Missouri to rebuild it. So I thought about, when I order that, is there a way I can get the bypass with that when I order it, or is it not yet available?
I mean, if you're ordering a truck, you can pretty much do anything you want, and a bypass is usually an option when you're ordering stuff.
No, I'm talking about ordering the rebuild kit,
Oh,
the motor rebuild kit from y'all.
oh, yeah, of course. Well, I don't know. We've hired so many people to be more efficient, and so there's a gal that works here, and that's her only job is to do stuff like that. And the last I heard, yeah, she was getting us set up with an account with AMSOIL to start facilitating, helping people get that oil bypass system. Because I had to get it for myself. I told her, hey, I have to start providing oil bypass systems. I keep running my mouth. That's something I'm going to do from now on when we sell an engine. Since I've been saying that, we've sold 5 engines that have left here, and they didn't have an oil bypass system that I said
without it.
Right.
Right.
So I told her, get on this right away and figure it out. And then she updated me yesterday and said that we should have it figured out by today, but I never heard from her today. But we're that close. So I plan on ordering maybe 40 or 50 of them in here. So when people have an easy place to get one that will ship immediately, you know what I mean? And it's a whole kit. So
okay, so should I wait? Because I right now my motor, I have no blow by. It runs good. So I'm wondering if I should wait to order the rebuild kit or the overhaul kit when you get that in, or should I go ahead and order it? Because you have a kind of a special going on that right now.
Well, so you can go to AMSOIL's site and just get one, right? And the margins on these things, guys, are like really small. They're like $450 or $500 setups. That's for the whole hose. Right. It comes with everything. To sell them, for me to sell them is going to be more of a nuisance than it's worth. We're not going to really make any money on them. There's like a 10% margin on them, and so it's like $40 to deal with all the bullshit of trying to sell them, right? But I'm okay. Right. I'm okay with that because my goal isn't to try and. It's not about making money off of them. I want to have them available to just give to people because I believe in them that much, right? And I've talked about them so much, and I have to start providing them. People already know people are going to ask me for them, so I'm just going to get a bunch of them. It's not a big deal. Their price point's low enough. I can probably buy 50 of them and just have them sitting here. So big deal. But no, you don't need to wait on me. Go get one for sure. Anybody wants to support us and get something from us, but don't let me fucking slow you down for sure.
So do you have any of the PACCAR kits still available, or are you waiting on them to come in?
No, I just got 10 more of the PACCAR kits in, and they're already ready to go. They've already been had all the coatings and everything done to them. And they'll tell me how much it is for shipping and everything. Yeah, man, they'll figure it out for sure. Just give us a call.
I'll call you tomorrow. Thank you. I appreciate the help, and I watch you all the time and listen, and I appreciate what you're doing for us truck drivers.
Yeah, the price point on those PACCAR kits is awesome too. It's far below.
It is. It's very awesome.
Below an OEM kit by far, and they're way better. They're way better. Anyway, all right, brother. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye. Some guy asked in the comments, do we have a manifold? The answer to that is yes. We got in a stack of manifolds finally today. I've been checking on them all last week. They're supposed to be here all last week. They finally showed up today. I have a whole stack of them, but we still can't do anything with them because we're waiting on our isotropic machine. So this is how I do things. So I'll go and take a manifold, and we've already done it. I've already coated and sold a whole bunch of manifolds, but they were all ones that we were sending out to a place to get polished on the inside. So there'll be a performance manifold. We get rid of all the roughness, all the ridges, make them like glass inside, coat the outside. Once we nailed down that it was successful, we purchased all the machines to do it in-house. So we have a whole bunch of isotropic super finishing machines. Boy, those are some spendy units that are going to be here in about 5 days, I think, 5 or 6 days. And so probably be about a week and a half, and we'll have manifolds ready to go. And I mean, currently you guys can get a manifold from us. We carry everybody's manifold, full tilts. We have PAI's performance manifold. We have an in-house manifold right now that we're doing, but I'm loath to call it a performance manifold, even though guys are seeing 150, 200 degrees cooler on the ones we're doing in-house. And the price point on them is like $600 or something. But they are not polished on the inside, so they're not a true performance manifold. We will have that in a few days, so hope that answers that question. Do I install them after purchase? I don't know what the lead out question to that was, so I won't be able to answer it. Frank Flores, you're on the air.
Yes, sir. I have a question. I recently purchased a 2019 Kenworth with the Cummins X15, and I've had it here at my yard for a couple weeks, so I've saved up enough cash for insurance and all that, and finally got it going. Got the insurance yesterday. Went to go put logos on it today, and I noticed the coolant. I had just changed the water pump like 2 weeks ago, and I noticed the coolant got real dark.
That sucks.
Yeah. I was told that it might be the EGR cooler, or it could be a head.
It could be, yes. It could be both of those. It could be both of those. Are you having to add any coolant? Are you losing coolant at all?
The couple times I drove it, I haven't had to put any coolant, and it's been at the same level.
Okay.
But it's only been driven maybe about a total of like 40, 50 miles.
And is it having trouble staying cool?
No, its temperature's perfect. Everything looks good. Just that today, it came out on the screen that it said 3 hours to, derate.
Sounds like an EGR issue. I would go after the EGR for sure.
Yeah.
Usually if it's your cylinder head causing that problem, putting all that combustion gas in there, you're going to see more violent stuff going on. You're going to be having a hard time keeping coolant in it. It's going to have a hard time staying cool. EGR might be causing all those problems for sure. And now you're
that's what I was.
Now you're saying you're having after treatment issues. It's really sounding EGR-y to me. I would have somebody look at it for sure and narrow down what it is, so you're not just throwing money at it. That's the first thing. But it sounds like you might.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I was told not to delete it. Deleting a truck is a bad thing to do because it's just you're gonna cause premature wear on it or something like that. And then I was also told by other people that that's the best thing you could do. So I'm stuck in between.
So my recommendation is going to be to fix the EGR. It's not going to be to delete the EGR. Now, I get comments in my comment sections from guys saying, "Oh, that's the fucker that loves the EPA." I could give two shits about the EPA, other than the fact that they could put me in jail. But as far as do I agree with anything they do? No, I don't. I don't agree with anything that they do. Do I think that they're keeping us safe? No, I don't. I don't think they're doing anything for the environment, anything for us. I think they should go shove it up their ass. But that being said, the engine is designed to operate with that EGR. And when that EGR is removed, it is very, very hard on the engine. I worry about the legal aspect of it because I don't like prison very much. And so I don't delete trucks here. I don't mess with that kind of stuff. But if I had it my way, there would be no emissions on anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Right. So just to clear that up for everybody. But the fact that the engine was designed to run with the EGR, it needs to stay on there because it is very hard on it to not be on there. So I would look into getting it fixed. All right.
All righty. Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Good luck with that one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. You have a great night.
You too. Bye. I hope for his sake it's the EGR. It's a lot better than having a head problem. But again, it's almost impossible to have a head problem without some kind of correlating event. It doesn't sound like he's had any of that. So EGR is probably what's going on. Just checking out the comments, guys. Let me go look over here at Instagram. I keep forgetting that Instagram's even on here because I'm not used to Instagram being on here. But anyway, appreciate everybody watching from Instagram. That's kind of a new experience. First time we've streamed there. Anywhere we're streaming makes it more fun. Let's see how much time we have. We'll have a whole hour left. So I guess, guys, the number to call in is 573-422-4225 if you want to be part of the show. There's still 6 people on hold, so we're just going to keep after them here. Lane, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey there. Good to hear from you again this week. Kind of different question I've got for you, more on the business side of things. So you started up in Alaska. From what I understand, I might be wrong, and you had a couple different paths to take. I'm kind of curious about that. What made you decide to go where? In the trucking industry, there's a whole lot of different places you can be of service. So what made you go with where you're at now?
You mean what led me to building engines, or what made me do the things I did with trucks?
Well, kind of lay it out for me, if you would. The circumstances you came across and the experiences you had to bring you where you're at.
Well, if I skip over a whole section of my life where I owned a construction company, leading up to the 2008 housing collapse, and gloss over all that and go straight to where I got into trucking. The reason I got into sorry, go ahead.
See, that's kind of what I want to know. There is that well, not only what I want to know, but that section there that got you into trucking. What, if you don't mind?
Yeah, okay.
The reason
I got to
there?
try and give the quick version. So, as a young man, I grew up doing honeybees with my family. We're a 5th generation beekeeper. All of my grandpas, great-grandpas, great-great-grandpas, everybody did bees. All my uncles, my dad. Massive bee businesses, by the way, not like a couple hives. We're talking thousands, tens of thousands of colonies. I grew up doing that. And when I was a couple days after my 18th birthday, I decided I wanted to do something different. I got on an airplane. I flew to Alaska, landed in Kodiak Island, didn't know anybody. Just thought I would just take a chance on life, see what happened to me. Spent about an hour on the docks, and it didn't take very long. Somebody put me on their boat, and I was commercial fishing. I did that for 5 years. The thing about commercial fishing is it's really only a summer job. And so in the wintertime, I took up carpentry and started building houses in the winter, and I'd fish in the summer. And it didn't take me very long to get tired of fishing because it's incredibly dangerous, and just not a life for anybody. And so I started my own construction business. This was pre-2008. And so anybody that was building houses pre-2008, it was really hard to not be successful. And I grew very rapidly. I ended up with 5 job trailers. I had about 36 employees. In 2007, we built 314 structures from anywhere from hotels to high-end homes to duplexes, you name it. We built so many buildings, and I did a lot of them turnkey. We do the dirt work, framing, siding, roofing, concrete, sheetrock, mud tape, texture. We do the whole thing, right? And then I got so big, I was able to develop my own subdivision. I had 30 homes on the market when the 2008 collapse happened. I'm the most unluckiest guy on planet Earth. I walked away losing all of the homes I had. None of they were all spec homes. None of them were sold. That was a thing that everybody was doing back then. I lost them all to the bank, and after I lost everything, I was still $1.2 million in debt. I went and so what I did was I packed up everything from Anchorage and I went up to Fairbanks, where my brother was at, and my brother owned a huge civil company and trucking company as well. And he had about 40 trucks and then all the, heavy equipment to do civil work. And he had won some contracts with the U.S. government working on the base. And so he asked me if I wanted to bid some of those jobs that he wasn't going to do, which was upright construction. So I bid a whole bunch of jobs, and what do you know? I won them. And so I spent the next 2 years doing exclusively military contracts. And on the third year, I got outbid and I didn't win a single job. And so I jumped in one of my brother's trucks and helped him finish out a striker pad he was doing. And I made more money driving his truck for 4 weeks than I had ever made completing a building doing construction. I just couldn't believe he was paying me like $68 an hour or something. So I made more money.
Even if you were owning the business that was,
massive.
You owned a company that built all this, and
a lot of money through my hands, but you got to understand, this is what most people don't understand. This is the biggest mistake that truck drivers make, by the way, is that the only income that matters is your disposable income. And I'll get to that here in a second. Okay. So this was the most money I had ever made in my entire life. That was purely disposable income, right? So you're making $68 an hour and you're working 12-hour days and, whatever, right? That's going to be a lot of money, and I have no expense. The expense is all on my brother. I'm driving his truck. It's the first time in my life I'd ever had that much disposable income. I had a shit ton more money than that in my hands. That was technically mine, but I understand the difference between disposable income and not disposable income, right? So, anyway, I immediately decided to get my own truck. I got one truck. I ran as a single truck owner operator on the Alaska Haul Road for 2 years. And I just killed it. And I killed it so hard that I didn't work nearly as hard as anybody else. I would only run 4 days a week instead of 6 like everybody else. And I made so much money and life was so great. And I thought, man, this is so great. I should get more of these trucks. Obviously, that's where I made my big mistake. And within a year, before the end of year number 3, I had 11 trucks running the Alaska Haul Road. And right when I got to 11 trucks, the 2015 oil collapse hit. And again, I know how to pick them, right? So the 2015 oil collapse hit and I was unemployed. Everything I had was stopped working. 40% of the population of Fairbanks was unemployed overnight. And I was desperate to not lose everything. I had just recovered from 2008. And here I am completely devastated again. And so I frantically looked all over the United States. I found a Volvo plant being built in South Carolina. I brought all my employees together. None of them have worked in almost 90 days, and not a single one of them had anywhere to go. They just kept coming to work and standing there looking at me. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen because there was no jobs to have. And I said, I'm going to go to South Carolina and do this Volvo plant. Who's coming with me? And 100% of the guys that worked for me, including my mechanics, all volunteered to go. So we packed up all the trucks, all the guys, all the tools. I had flatbeds. We loaded our compressors, you name it. We took a whole trailer of tires with us just so we'd have tires when we got down there. And we
kitchen sink.
Yeah, we went down there as a big old ass caravan. And that was the biggest mistake in my life because I got down there and realized that I was ill-suited to be down there. Everything's by the ton. I'd never been in an area where you were limited to 80,000 pounds. Never been in an area where, they won't go over 80,000 pounds. And my trucks were all super 310-inch wheelbase, 46,000 pound rear ends. They hold 400 gallons of fuel. They all have big cats, 18 speeds. They have heavy duty front ends, dual frame rail, big drum decks on them. Oh man, we couldn't haul shit. The best truck I had hauled 23 tons. That was the best truck I had. And most of them haul around 18 tons. I mean, I couldn't make any money. So, for 18 months, I saved every penny and lived like an absolute dog. until I could make enough money to escape the South. And all I was trying to do was make it to North Dakota, because I knew if I could get back into an oil field in the North, that it would be familiar territory that I knew how to navigate. And somehow I managed to not lose everything I had, and we made it to North Dakota. And when we made it to North Dakota, almost immediately I started to be successful again. I got all my trucks doing good work, and then I expanded to 23 trucks over the next couple of years. And here's going back to the point I made a little bit ago, guys. At my zenith, at the very top of my trucking career, running 23 trucks in the oil field, and I had about 15 leasers working for me. I can go back and look now, and I know for a fact that I would have made more money if I would have got rid of all those trucks and I just would have drove one myself. I would have had more disposable income. And at my peak, I was doing $200,000 a week. That was our average. That's what we would run through our hands, about $2,000 a week. And I would have made more money if I would have ran one truck instead of all those trucks. More money that I get to keep. You know, disposable income is money that doesn't go to your essentials, doesn't go to what you live, doesn't go to sustain your business. It's money. You want to go to Disneyland? That's disposable income. You want to take the family to Hawaii? That's disposable income. You want to go out to the movies? You want to buy some ice cream? That's disposable income. Does that make sense?
So what was the major difference there that made it so costly versus just one truck?
$32,000 a month in insurance, 10,000 gallon fuel tank. I filled up every week. About every week and a half, 2 weeks, maybe if I was lucky. I was filling it up every 2 weeks. Paying 5 mechanics, paying 23 drivers and 15 leasers, and paying health insurance, and paying for the power, and paying for general maintenance. The biggest number one thing is the maintenance that goes into the trucks, because drivers don't give a fuck because they don't own them. 100%. The only guys that didn't cost me money were the owner operators, because they strived really hard to take care of their trucks. The guys that drove my trucks, they didn't give a shit. They trash them. Shove freaking torsion arms through the frame rail, bust the frame rail, rip the fuel tank off the side, crack the steering, you name it, man. You name it. Blow up the engine.
So if you had enough work to keep 23 trucks busy, would it have been more affordable just to hire a third party and still make a profit somehow through all that?
The best way I could have done it was have only owner operators. That would have been the most profitable way to do it. So
I guess what I'm getting at here, right now, I've got about 8 trucks running, 6 trucks constantly, and we own trucks. Our cost per mile is higher than what we're hiring year-round companies to hire or to haul our product. So how did you figure out your cost per mile? And did you put everything in there? Driver wages, mechanics, everything.
So I figured it out a long time ago. And you got to realize the oil field's a different animal, right? And I only preferred to work in the oil field. And in the oil field, you can kind of figure out everything. You know, it's always short runs and this and that, unless you're up in Alaska. But even that's a known. It's 512 miles every time. You know, it's the same trip every time. So I always figured out what the trucks made per hour. And I had a cutoff that I wouldn't go under. And that hourly rate was $120 an hour. So if we were hauling by the barrel or hauling by the load or something like that, I would go run the routes myself, figure out how long it was going to take, and then I would give a bid on it, right? And of course, the trick in any of that is to be in first place. And if you know, if you're not in first place, then it's too many hands are in it, and you're not making any money, right? Yeah, and so many guys will continue to work just because they have to make payments and this and that. The other big advantage I had, guys, is I had zero debt. I learned that from 2008. That's what kept me from going under in 2015, is I had no debt. And in 2020, so if I finish my story here, I was on top of the world and 2020 hit and we had COVID and oil went negative. But this time I was a little smarter. I'd already been through 2 major collapses in my life and I parked everything I had, even though I had awesome jobs and I was in first place on at least half of them. I was doing really well. I parked my trucks before I lost my work and helped all the guys that worked for me. You find new work, and I parked everything, told all the oil companies that I would no longer going to be providing services for them. And I hunkered down and just weathered the storm. But we had been building engines, and here's how we got into building engines really quick. And I got to hurry this up so I can get back to the callers. But we got into building engines because I had leasers, and these leasers started to break down, and they started asking me to fix their engines. And I had a strict policy that we wouldn't work on anybody's stuff but our own. But once you have leasers, you kind of have to break down a little bit. So I started doing my leaser stuff. And I realized that when I was doing my leaser stuff, that it actually filled this gap. I had to have enough mechanics that if I had issues, like 2 or 3 trucks went down at the same time, I had to be able to get them back up and running so I could fulfill my contracts, right? It's always a balancing act. Do I have too many people where I have a guy sitting around because I have more guys than I need? Or do I not have enough guys? I can't fulfill this contract. So you're always right. You're dancing that fine line of, if I have a breakdown, I might not be able to fulfill my contract, right? So I did have spare trucks on purpose just for that. But, when one breaks down, it's a panic to get it back up and going. So I had to have lots of mechanics, but they're going to have downtime and they'd be sitting around a lot. So I figured out, well, if I'm doing these engines on the side, then I always have something for my guys to do. And so it started turning into not just doing the leasers, but the leasers like, hey, can you do my brothers or can you do my uncles? And then it turned into, can you do my buddies? And it just kind of turned into its own animal where we were just doing everybody's engine. And when COVID happened, by the time COVID happened, we had a couple hundred engines running around the back and that we had overhauled when 2000 hit and COVID happened. So here's the miracle that happened to us. Okay. I shut everything down and we had like 4 or 5 engines left in the shop. And so I let everybody go but the mechanics. And I said, hey, when these 5 engines are done, I'm not going to have anything for you guys. Everybody needs to, I won't blame you if you go find a job and leave here tomorrow. But when these engines are done, I'm not going to have anything for you. And so we all spent the next week working on these engines. And all of a sudden I got this phone call from somebody in Arkansas. And they said, hey, a buddy of mine told me about you, that you're the guy to come to have an engine overhauled. And I was like, well, cool. Yeah, bring your engine. And so I set it all up with them. And about an hour later, somebody calls me from Arkansas. And he's like, hey, I heard you're the guy to do an engine. And I was like, do you know this other guy? And they didn't know each other, right? So I'm like, that's a super coincidence. They don't know each other. But they're both from Arkansas. Both those guys got on my board. And the next day, I got 3 calls, one from New York, one from Florida, and one from Texas. And all 3 of those people were bringing us an engine. So I got 5 engines on our board in 2 days. And then it just went crazy. And what was going on, it took me a minute to figure out the phenomenon, is all those owner operators that we did engines for in North Dakota, not a damn one of them was from North Dakota. So when COVID happened, all those guys went and did over the road because that's where the place to be was, right? And so now we have 200 people running around the United States telling everyone and their mom about this little shop in North Dakota that you got to go to because they're the guys.
Nice.
And
okay, well, we'll hit you up next week. Hey.
All right.
Yeah. Take care.
Yep. Have a good night. All right, back to the callers, guys. That's how we ended up where we're at. Then I did social media after we'd already become popular. So social media did help us become who we are, of course. I think that's how we ended up in Texas from social media because we kept growing and growing. But our first burst of becoming nationally known came from over-the-road drivers that used to be oil field truckers. Hi, you're on the air. You're curious about an oil bypass system. Sorry for making you wait so long.
I'm just curious as to the maintenance behind them.
The
Am
maintenance.
I changing a filter every 10,000 miles?
No. They're I can't remember exactly what it is, but I think it's more like 40, 50,000. They go for a lot longer. You think it'd be the other
Am
way
I changing
around.
the normal one?
Yeah. No, you're still going to change your normal filter, right? And you know, if you want to do the system where you're trying to run your oil out for 100, 200, 300,000 miles and you're pulling oil samples rather than changing your oil, you got to go with a really high quality, type 4 oil or a type 5 oil. You don't want to be doing that with a type 3 or a type 2 oil, for sure. But in general, your oil bypass system, let me explain it really quick. When you have a high efficiency filter like Cat's filter or maybe Baldwin's high efficiency filter or something like that, what that means is that it filters down to 20 micron. Your regular filter, like you just buy a filter off the shelf, that's going to filter between 40 and 30 micron. In other words, not very much. A 40 micron piece of carbon's massive, right? That's a big piece of carbon. And that's all your filter's filtering down to. Your oil bypass system filters to 1 micron, all the way down to 1 micron. So the reason that you can't have a regular filter under 20 is because you wouldn't have any oil pressure, right? You would have a dramatic loss in oil pressure. So that oil filter has to pass oil quickly, so they can only bring it down to 20 microns as low as they can go. And that's why it's, they actually, most of them make them bigger, like 30 or 40 micron. It's because they don't want to stop that flow of oil. So a bypass system isn't massively flowing your oil. Your oil all goes through that main filter. The whole sump's going through that filter in a matter of a minute or half a minute or something like that. That oil bypass system will run all of the oil in your sump through that filter in about 4 hours, right? So it's coming in really slow. And so you're filtering all of your oil down to 1 micron. Let's say you work a full day. Probably you're filtering all of your oil through that filter 3 to 4 times in one day. But the end result is you have literally new oil by the time you're done, right? So it's renewing your oil 3 times a day, like you're changing the oil 3 times a day. That makes sense?
Yep. So should I be running full synthetic? That's what you mean by type 4 or?
So here's how the types work, right? So type 2 actually I shouldn't even say type 2 because type 2 oil doesn't even really exist anymore. Type 2 is a regular petroleum oil that has not been hydrocracked. That's a type 2 oil, and they pretty much don't exist anymore because everybody hydrocracks their oil pretty much these days. So everything pretty much is a type 3 oil. And what that means is that it's been hydrocracked, and what that means is they put it under intense pressure, heat and pressure, and they introduce hydrogen into it, and that process cracks the molecules and makes a way better oil on the other side, right? And so your type 4 oil, which is what they consider a synthetic, which would be like your Rotella T6, right? Let's take that for an example. Rotella T6 is a type 4 petroleum that has been hydrocracked multiple times to where the state of it has been altered so much. It's so different than regular petroleum that they're able to classify it as a synthetic, but it's still a petroleum-based product. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but here's the catch. It's not a true synthetic. It's not. So to get to a true synthetic, you need to be made from gas or coal. Almost all of it these days is made from natural gas. So like your AMSOIL, your Mobil 1, your Royal Purple, oils like this, those are hydrocracked natural gas. And that's how you get a true full synthetic oil. Now, the difference between a type 4 and a type 5 is fucking light years, right? The difference between a type 3 and a type 4 is pretty big, but it's not like the difference between a type 5. Does that make sense? So because you're still dealing with the petroleum, it's just been so highly refined that they're able to legally classify it as a synthetic.
So I already bought the bypass system.
I should run Type 5 oil when I install that.
I'll tell you what, man, I've tested the shit out of oils, and a Type 5 oil, I don't care whose it is, Mobile One, Royal Purple, AMSOIL. AMSOIL, believe it or not, is actually classified, depends on who's classifying, as a Type 6. AMSOIL is that much better than even Royal Purple or Mobile One. But both of those aforementioned oils are phenomenal oils, right? Phenomenal oils that are true full synthetic oil. I only run Mobile One in everything that I have. Everything I own has Mobile One in it because it's mainly due to the price point. So your price point versus the quality that you're getting, Mobile One's really where it's at, in my opinion, right? Because you can afford to you can afford to go buy it and use it. And my dream is to develop a oil, and I've been talking with AMSOIL about it. I'm trying to get them to develop an oil with me that is a 50% synthetic. And that's the problem with buying a semi-synthetic. Don't ever buy a semi-synthetic. What a waste of money. Because in our industry, or in the oil industry, they can legally call an oil a semi-synthetic if any percentage of it is synthetic. So they can put less than 1% synthetic in it and call it a semi-synthetic. So what do you think?
And then charge twice the price.
What do you think they do? What do you think they all do? It's junk.
Yep.
Semi-synthetic is junk. Don't ever buy semi-synthetic. And so I've been talking to AMSOIL. What I want them to do, and they've seriously talking to me about this, is making me a semi-synthetic that is 50% synthetic, guaranteed. Like, we'll put it on the bottle. It's guaranteed. Go test it. It's 50% semi-synthetic. Then you would have a badass oil at a badass price point. Somebody needs to do that. I am.
What would John Deere 1540 be classified as?
Conventional oil, class 3.
Okay, that's what I normally ran because you can get it in bulk here in Nebraska, easy.
Yeah, somebody said in the comments, I thought you ran Cinepec. You've made videos about it. Yeah, I ran Cinepec in my trucks forever. That's a Type 4 oil, man. Type 4 oil for a Type 3 price point. You bet. I love Cinepec. Cinepec's full synthetic oil. It's a Type 4. It's still a petroleum-based oil, but it's been hydrocracked multiple times. It is considered classified as a synthetic, and it works great. And their price point can't be beat. And if you like Rotella, buy Cinepec. Cinepec and Rotella are the same damn company, basically. They pull from the same oil field. All of their shit's all joint venture. You can call Cinepec and say, I only want your American-made brand instead of the Singapore brand. And they'll send you gray barrels instead of red barrels. And those gray barrels are just Rotella in that barrel. But it's coming out of the same oil field. Kind of
copy. Good. Well, I guess you answered my question, so thank you.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye. Dustin Tabor, I think you're on the air.
Yes. Yes. What's going on?
I don't know. I'm waiting for you to tell me.
Oh, okay. All right. I got a 98 Kenworth with a 6NZ C15. I put it in here. It did have an N14 coming, so I pulled it out because I got a hole in the block. So I put this 6NZ in here. It's got about 500,000 miles on the engine itself, but 280,000 miles ago, I had to do a gold kit from Cat. And, but since this thing's been put in, I've had kind of a rough idle, and it's between 900 and 1,050 RPM.
Where did you get it done at?
Well, so I bought the motor from a guy I know over in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I'm in the Panhandle, Nebraska. And he had an IPD in-frame kit in it with an APC head. And what had happened, I had a guy install it for me, and he screwed up my air my air intake pipes going from my air filters to the turbo, and he left a gap in it so you can fit 2 fingers in it. But I was stuck in dirt for 180,000 miles roughly, and it dusted my motor. I had all 6 liners scored, so that's why I did the Cat in-frame or the gold kit.
Okay, but who did the gold kit? Was it Cat?
Just a local shop. A friend of ours runs a shop with a certified Cat mechanic or whatever you call them.
Okay, so they probably, I mean, it's more than likely that the cam gear is out of time.
The cam gear is out of time?
Yep, we see it. We see it all the time. And the reason I think we see it so much is because nobody owns the tool.
I got you.
And
that's it runs good. It runs great. It's set at 600 horse, 2050 torque. I mean, I don't have any issues with it running. You know, I'm driving right now. I'm still working. So, but you know, I'm getting like 5.5 to 5.8 per miles per gallon.
Right, but the problem you're describing,
it just has
the problem you're describing is that it runs rough, right?
Yeah, well, it idles rough, yeah, but
right.
Between 900 and 1,050 RPMs. If I idle it up, you know, and keep it at the 900, it runs smooth.
Right.
And then at the 1,050 mark, it smooths back out.
Okay. So every time that you take the head off and put a new head gasket on, every single head gasket ever made has the potential to be a different thickness than the last one that was on there. And so that raising and lowering of that head gasket clearance changes the mesh on the gears, which changes the angle of the timing, either advanced or retarded, of the camshaft gear. So every time the head comes off, it has to be retimed with the special tool. And I would say that 90% of the trucks that come into our shop, when we go to tear them down, they are out of time when we get them. And they all run really rough, and the tires shake and everything like that when we first bring them in. And when they leave, they don't do that.
Okay.
But I own both types of tools that you have that you can possibly use to do that. Some guys prefer one type, some guys prefer the other type, but either type is needed for it to run smooth. And it will run. They just don't run smooth. They run rough as shit.
So would that cause it to have a slight haze while I'm, you know, like idling overnight or whatever? And it's right away. It's not like idling for 4 hours and then it starts hazing. It idles right, or it hazes right away.
That would be an injector problem.
Okay.
Which, if you have an injector problem, it's probably where your rough idles coming from anyway.
Okay.
Probably might not even be out of time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm waiting on. We've been trying to get Cat injectors from direct from Cat. You know, new ones.
Brother. Why do guys do this, man? An injector cutout test. I don't know how much people fucking charge around the country for an injector cutout test, but most people we don't even fucking charge them, right? It's just such a simple job. Worst case,
I do have my own computer.
Okay, so do a cutout test and see if it comes back good.
I did, and it passes.
Okay, so are you gifted enough?
I did the 1 cylinder, and I've done the 4 cylinder.
Okay, and do you know enough about that type of stuff to know if one of those is the pulse width is weak?
No, I'm not too familiar with the numbers. It just, you know, they all come back like, you know, whatever it says, okay, or whatever the hell that computer says. But I'm not too familiar. I have taken pictures of them to talk to somebody about them, but I have not sent them to anybody yet just to see what they thought about the numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. Sounds like a bad injector, but it could be out of time as well. It's one of those two things.
Okay. I'll check into it. So, Bennett Truck Center, that is your son, or is that you?
Yeah, no, that's my son. I'm Hack Nation.
Okay. I got your guys' rear ends in here, both of them.
Oh, right on. Yeah,
I did that probably 6 months ago or so.
Yeah, man, they sell a lot of rear ends. Holy crap.
Yeah, they're running good.
Yeah, they have. I wish they were around when I was doing trucking, man. Good God, they have great
Yeah, really.
prices, great warranty. I was just talking to my
Yep.
sons about this 2 nights ago, and I was like, "How your guys' warranty is retarded? It's like it's gonna put you guys under." And they're like, "Nah, it's good." I'm like, okay, whatever you say. But anyway, all right, man. Well, good luck out there.
That's why I ordered them from them.
Right. I mean, they're good.
I appreciate it.
They're good about it too. All right. Have a good night, man. You know,
Yeah, you too. Bye.
it's one thing to have a great warranty on paper and in a video. It's quite another to stand behind it. How did you get to San Antonio? Well, I spent too much time talking about myself. Ask me next week and I'll finish the story, how I ended up in San Antonio. It's warmer here, I can tell you that. Gabriel, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going? I'm back.
Yeah, what can we do for you?
I got cut off. Just trying to figure out how to get this 2000 Freightliner Detroit DD fixed. I don't want to take too much of your time. I would love to just maybe show up, or what do you think is the best way to get you guys to look at my truck and get it back on the road?
It's a DD15?
Yeah, I know. Freightliner. I know your little son, the youngest one, loves Freightliners.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe he can work on it.
he's my nephew. But
Oh, your nephew, yeah.
does that have the
I love you guys' videos. He's hilarious.
does that have the DD15 in it?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, we just don't have a lot of support for that engine. We've overhauled some, but these days we just use Worldwide to, if we're going to overhaul, we just use Worldwide and they just send us a whole engine and we slap it in because we can do that with them for less than we can overhaul the engine ourselves, which I'll never understand that, but we've gotten engines from them and they've been great. So I'm not going to complain, but with the DD,
So another question. I would like to just maybe power swap it, change the whole fucking motor out. I know a lot of people tell me not to fix the Freightliner, but what am I going to do with the semi truck? I'm not just going to take it to junkyard.
So the most common phone call I get throughout the week, unequivocally, is people calling to talk to me about doing a repower, motor swap, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I've seen a couple videos you talk about, and it's not cheap or.
Right. So you have to look at what you have. Like I was talking to a guy earlier today. He has a Packard, wanted to go to a ISX. I would love to do that for him. It'd be fun. It'd be great. But I feel duty bound to tell people what they're getting into, and I was like, let's talk about all the things you're going to get into and talk about what it's going to cost you. And by the time him and I went down the whole list of everything, it was going to be probably 70 in the high 70s. Well, it's in a 359, whatever Peterbilt. The truck will never retain the value from that. Right. So, and guys, I'm not the one to be able to decide value. Value is subjective. Okay. So I can't tell you what the value. We have had guys bring Coronados. We've had guys bring Columbias. We did a Freightliner Columbia. We took a DD15 out. We put a 60 series Detroit in it. One of our 14-liter Canadian builds that we do, 600 plus horsepower ones. That guy spent an insane amount of money having us do all that stuff. Well, not insane, but I think he was $63,000 into it. That's quite a bit of money, of course. But that's what he wanted, right? So if that's what he wanted, then sure, the value's there. The value's there because the value is not intrinsic. The value is what he puts into it. But you have to also be smart. You have to do smart business moves. And if you're sitting here looking at it apples to apples, well, if you're doing a 379 or 389 Pete, rather 389 Pete or a W900, and you're doing a motor swap on that, the value of it increases dramatically for the most amount of people around you, so the retail value is there. The retail value on that Freightliner of yours isn't there, right? It's not there. So
Yeah, it's like trying to fix up a Kia, I've heard.
Yep. Right. You don't go and dump $60,000 into a Kia, and hope to sell it for more than 10 grand that it was worth. Probably not even worth that.
So, I've been driving car hauling for the last 4 years. Got into it with a buddy of mine because he owns a car dealership. So just been learning as I go, owner operator. Just what do you think is the best thing I should do with that 2015 Freightliner? Do I try to get up and run and try to sell it, or I have about maybe 20,000 to pay it off, and I'm stuck, on what to do with it, or
I don't
just
know,
sitting
man.
at the yard,
So here's the thing, man. I don't mind giving people business advice to the ability that I know what I'm talking about, right? But you're asking me for financial advice, and that I hold that up there kind of like with legal advice, right? I'm not the guy. I'm just not the guy. I don't feel comfortable giving people, you owe money on it. I'm not, I'm gonna pull a Dave Ramsey on you here. I don't have those kind of answers, right?
Well, I appreciate that. So let's just move on to my next question. I have a 2019 389 Peterbilt with a Packard engine in it, and it's at a 500,000 miles counting right now. I do want to get a power swap on this one. It's a 9-car hauler, beautiful rig. Would love for you guys to, right now, I don't know do I do the rebuild on it and keep it running? But with the pack car, what I've seen, unloaded, it gets great miles. Once I load the bitch up with trucks, the SUVs, man, the fuel miles on it drops. I mean, it drops to 3 gallons a mile, 4.
Yeah.
So my question is, how do I get
underpowered engine?
Yep. And my question is, how do I get in with you guys? Would love to show up to your shop, get to know you guys, and talk numbers, and really get a cat motor in this 9-car hauler.
Well, we don't do anything for anybody without giving them a comprehensive quote. We try and get it down to the last couple bucks. What we make sure doesn't happen is it's 10 grand more than we talked about, and go fuck yourself. You want your truck back. So that's a whole process, man. Give us a call and we can talk about it. All right.
Yeah, love the show. Your kids, your whole operation is great, man. Love that you guys are trying to change the industry for the better. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, sir.
Bye. Lots of love in the air. Lots of love in the air. Just repowered my 359 with an N14 and no regrets. And that's what I'm talking about right there, man. No one can tell you the value of something, The same thing with that guy that wanted me to do his 359. That's what I told him. I was like, if that's the truck, you like that truck, that, the value is there for you in that truck, then do it. Sure, do it. It's like, but if but if you're evaluating that as this is probably a truck I'm going to want to get rid of later, the value is probably not going to be there like it would have been if it was a 389 rather than a 359. And that's just the facts, right? That's just the facts. More other people are going to value that truck more than they would value the 359. But, if that 359 is laid out how you want it and this and that, and you want to have that N14 in it, then of course it's absolutely worth doing. But making smart business choices, you're probably Farm Boy Gaming over here that made that comment. He's probably not $20,000 in debt to the truck to start out with. Probably not. Anyway, 10 callers and 10 minutes left. Can we keep everyone to 1 minute? I don't know, but I don't want to be here super late. Let's keep hitting these callers. So many would be so fast to repower your trucks just to make the money. I know that, man. I know that, and I said this before. The most common phone call I get throughout the week, it's 10, 15 calls a week that are just people wanting to talk to me about repowering a truck. I talk 99.9% of people out of doing it just by basically being a financial advisor. And of course, I would be tickled pink if every one of them wanted me to do it, but it's just not who I am. I can't do that. I cannot sit there and be a part of wrecking somebody's life. Fortunately for me, I'm so busy all the time for such a popular shop that I have the luxury. I've said this before. Most people consider us one of the most honest shops in the United States, and I pride myself in that. And I strive to deserve that moniker, that label. But man, it's really easy for me because we're so busy, right? Maybe if we weren't one of the most popular places in the United States, maybe I would be a shady motherfucker. I don't know. I doubt it. Because I've fallen on hard times lots of times, but I don't know. It's just I psychoanalyze a little too much here. Let's go back to the callers. Travis Adams, you're on the air, brother.
Hey, how's it going today?
Good, man. What can we do for you?
I'm looking at buying a truck. It's a 2007 Kenworth. Got a C15 Acer in it that's been converted back to single turbo. But there's no motor history on it. And went over and fired it up. It sits about 60 PSI oil pressure. It was had an idle. About 45 degrees outside. I just didn't know, no blow by, no nothing like that. Just kind of curious, like your thoughts on something like that.
Got to turn up the machine there. I guess I didn't catch what the question was. What's it doing?
I was just looking at buying. It doesn't have any engine history, but sitting good oil pressure and idle. Just kind of curious what your thoughts would be. Like it's sitting about 60 pounds at an idle.
Okay, so probably the most common question I get throughout the week that I avoid answering is the one you're asking me. I only answer it on this show. If people call me and that's what they want to ask me, I'm like, seriously, this is a business. So I want to tell you guys a funny story really quick. A guy had been calling our call center wanting to talk to me. And the girls would not let him talk to me because he told them, I just want to ask him a question about a truck I want to buy. And they're like, he didn't have time to answer questions like that. You can call on Wednesday night, blah, 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 blah. And he kept calling back and he'd call the numbers. And then about 2 days later, I showed up to work 9 o'clock in the morning. And there was this dude standing in front of our gate. And it was that guy. He was so frustrated that he couldn't ask me the question. He was from Florida, got on an airplane, flew to San Antonio, took an Uber to my gate, asked me what truck he should buy, took the Uber back to the airport, and flew back to Florida. I will forever be blown away by that. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Anyway, not that I don't appreciate that you value my opinion on a truck you should buy. I just thought it was a funny story to share, but
personal stuff like the NXS cat.
It has an NXS.
Is that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great engine. Here's the thing, man. If you're confident the engine seems to be in good shape, when you're buying a truck, now listen up, everybody. For crap's sakes, this is important. Everybody wants to call me and ask me about what truck they should buy, especially if it's their first truck. And all they want to talk about is the engine. Okay. That's nice. I understand it's the most expensive thing on the truck. In theory, right? I spent a lot more money on the rest of my trucks over my career in trucking than I ever did on the engines. Okay. Let that sink in. Right. My tire bill far exceeded my tires, brakes, drums far exceeded my engine overhauls by far. Your engine isn't necessarily your biggest expense. It's just the most massive one to have happen at one time. So everybody worries about the engine, sure. But look at the rest of the truck. What I tell everybody, look at the rest of the truck. What are your kingpins like? What are the torsion rods like? How clapped out are the brakes? How beat up are the drums? What do the tires look like? Are we wearing funny on the tires? Is this thing needing alignment really bad? Are the shackles in your leaf springs wore out? What else do we have going on? Is the transmission leaking? Is this transmission on its last leg? Is our rear front and our input and output seals on our diffs leaking? Is this guy ran this thing out of oil? What is the general overall condition of the truck? And that's going to give you a lot of information about how well the engine was taken care of as well. Had a guy come through here. Hopefully he's not listening to the show, but he came through here and he wanted me to look at his engine because he just had it rebuilt and it's having some problems. And I was looking at his engine, and I just couldn't get over. He's wanting me to look at some leaks that he had and this and that, and I just could not get over the rest of the engine, which was his air supply line to the tanks was on the steering arm, and it had rubbed a hole in it. It was just about to pop. His power steering line was connected to another power steering line. They're both laying on the frame rail. I picked them up, and they both had worn almost completely through. On the passenger side, his oil return line for the turbo was up against the rail and was just about to break through, and it's laying so close to the turbo because it's not the factory line that the line was so brittle when you try to move it, it cracks. So it's just about to burst. The power steering unit was leaking all over the place. On and on and on and on. And I just couldn't get over looking at the rest of this truck. And I'm like, dude, fuck, why are you worrying about your engine? You need to fix all of this shit. You're like a time bomb driving down the road. And just that, looking at all that alone tells me a little bit about the condition of the engine. How could it not?
Right. Yeah. So I guess on this one, cosmetically looks great. Or cars, all the other things check out.
No,
that's all.
And you're right. And I'm kind of talking to everybody, right? I'm not getting on you. I'm talking to everybody. Everybody wants to know about the engine, and I get it. But dude, what about the rest of the truck? It's going to tell you everything you need to know, really, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I think that pretty much answers that for you.
Yep. Have a good night, man. Sorry to go off on you.
All
right.
No, you're good.
All right. Bye. Okay. There's still 9 callers in the queue, guys. It's too many. I don't want to go that late. I'm going to take as many as I can, and if I have to let you go, have to let you go. But some of you guys have been on hold for 29 minutes, 30 minutes, and 40 minutes. So I'm most certainly going to take you because I appreciate how long you waited just to talk to me. Thank you. Hello, you're on the air.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Is it? Okay, my name is Dave Roberts. I'm out of Kalispell, Montana. I haul logs up here, up in northwest Montana. And I got an MBN motor, C15. And this is the second time I've lost a crank in it. And I use really good oil. I use Lucas. I'm very anal about how I try to keep my oil changes. And I use Lucas. But I've lost number 2 rod bearing. Went out when I bought the truck at $500,000, and now it's went out it again, and it's just over $900,000. Why?
Same engine.
And my second question: same engine, MBN. And the second question is, I called. I must have talked to your parts person, and I'm gonna trying to get parts. I'm gonna get all the stuff to you because I watch your show, and I know Cat will rake you over the coals, which they always have. But I was going to get an in-frame kit from you guys, a crank. And do you guys sell heads? And if I do I got to send my core down to you guys? And how does that work?
No, we only do brand new heads, and our price point is better than a reman by almost $1,000.
Hey, do you want my core sent back to you?
Hell no. I mean, I get a pretty good price for scrap steel. Every time I fill up my 20-yard dumpster, they give me like $3 or $4 grand. So I mean, I'd take it for that. Just add to the heap for sure. No,
It's just like
we're pretty much a coreless place. The only thing we ever take cores on is occasionally we need back your compressor cores. It's really hard to be competitive on a brand new compressor. You know, we have compressors that I've been using for 15 years, the same brand, and never have problems with them. And they're only like $350, $450, right? Well, brand new ones are like $2 grand, right? So, you know, I like to go new on everything, but some things it's just not realistic. So it's pretty much compressors.
your
Sorry.
Your new heads then, or your new heads are probably what, $8,000?
No, our new heads are right around 5, but like 5, 6 or something. But we just made a deal with a place for cylinder heads. Day before yesterday, we're 90 days out from having them, and we're switching to a different head that's going to be 1 grade higher than we're selling now for a few $100 less. So our price point to the end user is going to come down quite a bit, and the quality is going to go up, but we're 90 days away from having those. We also
I can't wait that long to haul out.
No, we have heads right now.
The head that
don't get me wrong,
we have
stage 2 and stage 3 heads, and just about guarantee we have the best price point out there. But
because cat head right now is $9,000.
Oh no, we're like 34, I think. 34, 35, somewhere in there for a brand new one. Cats is
35.
Yeah.
Okay, because my wife is. We're talking to a Christy at your shop. That's your parts person. That's who I've been talking to.
That's my niece.
And she's going to get us a price on the in-frame kit, oil pump, oil cooler, the head, and 2 injectors.
Yeah, tell her.
There's 2 injectors that are bad.
Tell her to upgrade that thing, man, and I'll coat it for you.
Upgrade it to what?
To coating. I'll coat it for you.
You'll coat it?
Yeah. Yeah, it adds like
a
day and a half.
And how much more is that?
I don't know. It's like $1,200 or something, I think.
Okay.
But it adds like 2 days to the shipping time. It won't soon. Soon we're.
And your cranks are good cranks.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting a crank through you guys too.
I've been using the same company to supply my cranks for years, and I've never had a failure due to the crank. I've never claimed a warranty on a crank.
Okay, yeah, this one went out. Like I said, no, it's always number 2 journal on the rod bearing, and I don't. It's happened twice, and I don't fly.
So because it's happening on the rod journal instead of the main journal, you know, if it was happening on the main journal, I would be inclined to have speculations of why it's happening. But since it's happening on a rod journal, I'm going to say that it's a huge coincidence that it happened on the same one.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to assume we didn't use the same rod, right?
Nope.
So I mean, like I was just helping a guy with a warranty he was doing at another shop, and the wrist pin came out and trashed the engine, and that shop warrantied it and put it all back together for him. They were really good about warrantying it, and they basically gave him a whole new engine. They went 30,000 miles, lost a wrist pin, trashed the engine. They did a whole new engine for him, gave it to him, and it made it 3,000 miles, lost a wrist pin, and trashed the engine. And I believe it was the same hole, but that's a coincidence, right? What's not a coincidence is that we lost a wrist pin twice. Both times, really, the only way that can happen is an installation error of some kind. The same guy built both engines. You do the math, right?
Yep.
Is that what happened with yours? Probably not, because the mileage in between these is too high, right? It's not an installation problem. There's something else going on there.
Okay. That was my question. Like I said, then your cranks. I got quoted on a crank from Kenworth was $3,800.
That's not too bad. What
That's what they quoted me.
What did Chrissy quote you?
She hasn't yet. She's getting it. She said everything was all the computers were down today, which they were, and so she's quoting me everything, getting it out to us tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we're like 32 or 34 on a crank. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It's
okay.
Yeah, I've only done new cranks forever because new cranks have been cheaper than remans for probably 7 years now. I did remans a long time ago, but I switched because new ones are so much more inexpensive. It's crazy. Who the hell would buy a reman crank? You're crazy to do that.
Okay.
Anyway, all right,
brother. Well, that's my plan. Is any other question I got one more question. What's the number to your son? Because as we're hauling logs today, my guy one of my guys that I haul with, he's got a new repeat, but he lost the back rear end because we're pulling up to the mud, and he had chains on and he shouldn't, but he hopped and he popped the rear end. And I know your son. Do you sell the rear ends or do your son?
It's the same call center.
Same call center?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Then that's what he's going to do. Is he's going to call down, see how available he can get a rear end.
Yeah,
up here.
Their differential deals are just so ridiculous. But anyway, all right, brother.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye. Seriously, I lost so many diffs from exactly what that guy was talking about, hopping the rear ends, So many. I have never ruined a rear end. Let me put that out there. I have never ruined a differential in a truck or a transmission while I was driving it ever. But my drivers used to eat up rear ends like it was competition, and I would have like meetings where I would talk to guys about if they got stuck, don't try to get out. Let somebody come hook up to you, whatever, because they'd hop it and boom, that was the end of that. Anyway, I wish my sons were selling differentials back then. They're like so much more affordable than what I used to pay. How often should you replace wristband bushings? That's actually a really good question. It's a really good question. It's not often, man. It's not. What you should do, and that's the answer to that question. The proper answer to that question is you need to measure them and check them to see if they're in spec. 99% of the time, they're going to be in spec. Even if they have 1 million miles on them, they're going to be in spec. You'd be surprised probably to find that out. It's pretty rare you have to change your wristband bushings. They stay good pretty much forever, but they need to be checked. They certainly need to be checked. One guy asked a question here on Instagram. He said, dual or single oil bypass. So dual or single oil bypass. Amsoil does sell both. I don't know the answer to that. But I see a lot of single bypass systems and I see how well they work on the longevity of the engine. I plan on just stocking the single bypass. I'm sure the dual bypass gives you more longevity, but in my mind, you would think oil comes into one, goes into the other. If you're going to clog up, you're going to clog up anyway, whether you would have had one or you had two. I don't think it doesn't make sense you'd be able to run longer with two than just with one. So I don't know. I assume, the price point on the single one is just really, really good. So I assume it's probably good enough. David Kaiser, you're on the air, brother. Oh, and it accidentally let him. What the hell? Ruben Castro, you're on the air.
Hey, Aaron. I've seen you have some good content on TikTok, and I was giving you a call to see. I'm trying to get I guess I have a Cassie 15. It's a twin turbo BXS, and it's pushing oil into my coolant. So I swapped out the oil cooler, but it's still doing the same thing. So I don't know, trying to get a view of what other outcomes could it be.
So the odds of oil getting into your coolant, being the oil cooler, incredibly low. Obviously it is something that can happen, and it is mind-boggling to me how often oil coolers get changed to fix oil in the coolant problem and doesn't fix the problem. It is a go-to for like everybody. If they start getting oil in the coolant, they want to change the oil cooler, and it's just because it's the more affordable and quick option, but it almost never fixes the problem because it's almost always the cylinder head that's the problem, and it doesn't have anything to do with the oil cooler. Oil coolers fail rate is incredibly small. Most of the time, changing an oil cooler is a good idea to do because they get clogged up, not because they fail and exchange fluids. That makes sense. I like changing oil coolers on 23, 28-year-old trucks because it's time for a new oil cooler, right? But not because, your odds of this thing swapping fluids is incredibly high.
Well, I changed it because when I find out that it was pushing oil into my coolant, I called, a couple mechanics, and, they told me, oh, most of the time it's the oil cooler. So, I'm like, oh, well, I wouldn't mind because, I don't know how long, have that oil cooler been on the truck. So I did that, but I guess it's still pushing oil to the coolant, and I was just trying to get your view.
I understand but you got to understand that I'm talking to everybody, not just you, right? So I like to be as thorough as possible.
Yeah, I get you.
And so what I'm trying to tell you is it was probably, if you would have brought it here, I'd have been the last thing I would have looked at was the oil cooler. But long story short, if you already swapped the oil cooler, you've eliminated that from being a possibility. That's nice. It's your cylinder head. That's the you're getting
because it cannot be the air compressor, because I got some other people telling me air compressor, but since there's oil and coolant going through the air compressor, but
there is, but you have people chasing your ass. Okay, your cylinder head has some kind of failure, and it most likely correlates back to some kind of an event that you had in the past 6 months. I would guess that in the past, in the past 6 months, you've had some kind of an event where you had to add coolant to your reservoir for some reason.
Okay. And is there a way that you could check that? Because I'm here in Dallas. I could actually, drive the truck over to you,
So stop by.
But I don't know. Is there a way that you could check the cylinder head without, or you have to, take off the cylinder head for that?
Trying not to toot my own horn, but yeah, we're really fucking good at that kind of stuff, man. That's what we do. And we're also really good at not misdiagnosing stuff, and we're also really good at not talking people into doing shit they don't need to do. Right? If you want to stop,
yeah, because
if you want to stop by, we'll take a look at it. It's really simple. We do not spend much time looking at people's stuff. Usually, we have 1 or 2 or 3 people stop by here a day. I'll look at what they got going on, and I usually spend less than 2 minutes looking at anybody's truck. And then we usually figure out everything that's going on with it in under 2 minutes.
Okay. Because, that engine was overhauled like a year ago or so. And the head, it's an APC head, because I was going to get it from Caterpillar, but they were on back order. So, and, I already had disassembled the truck at the mechanic, so I went with the APC head, and then the M-frame kit, it's
none of that
IPC.
None of that has anything to do with anything. There's nothing wrong with any of those brands. I don't use APC, but that's okay. If you had an APC head that you brought with you and I was going to put it on your truck, it wouldn't bother me one bit, right? None of that has anything to do with it. Somehow your head's been compromised, and you've been using it for too long to say that there is a installation error, and that's just a guess, right? This isn't something you had done, 3 weeks ago or something like that. And most of the time when you have an installation error, you're pressuring up the cooling system. You're not swapping fluids. You're not putting oil into the cooling system. That head is fucked for some reason. And it's most likely correlates to some kind of an event. It got too hot somehow. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, I get you. All right. Yeah, well then let me see. Who do I have to talk with to, get you to look at the truck? Or because I mean I'm gonna have to drive from Dallas to San Antonio.
If you stop by at normal times, anywhere between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock, there's the least pressured times, and you're willing to hang out for a little bit, somebody will look at it. My brother-in-law is probably the best mechanic on planet Earth. If I don't have time, he will look at it. He's better than I am at diagnosing stuff that's just sitting there running in front of him.
Okay, then. All right. Well, whenever I have a chance, I'll just by and, thank you for answering my questions, I guess.
Yep. Good luck, brother.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, bye. Nobody ever wants to hear they overheated the truck. You say he's not going to come here to San Antonio, but an insane amount of people do. An insane amount of people do. They just pop through here either to meet us or ask us to take 5 seconds of our time to look at their truck. And most of the time we do. Most of the time we do. It's a service I don't mind helping people with, something that we're really good at. We're really good at figuring out what's going on with the truck. And we have a lot of cool tools to do it. We have stethoscopes to listen to your truck. We have thermal cameras to look at your truck, where I can see the inside of your truck. My thermal camera, I can see all of your gears spinning inside. We got cool shit here and a lot of experience. You combine technology with a lot of experience. Pretty easy to diagnose stuff. All right, Jose, you're on the air, man.
Yeah, hey, brother. Actually, I had a little bit of input for your last caller. I had a similar issue not too long ago with the reservoir getting full of oil, and it turned out to be I thought it was, the oil cooler, but it turned out to be the transmission cooler that dumped coolant into the oil or oil into the coolant. So that was my problem was the transmission cooler. I got that water to air or water to oil. It's got like a big tube on top of the transmission, and that was my issue. But my question now is, it's a 2013, it's a 2250, CM2250 ISX. It's got a shudder when I hit the engine brake, and it gets worse at lower RPMs. And the jaking power is not as great as it once was. It's a little weaker now. What do you think the issue is there?
What kind of engine was it?
It's Cummins ISX, ISX 15, 2250.
Okay, does it still have the VGT turbo on it?
Yes.
Yeah, your VGT turbo is messing up.
The turbo, the turbo, okay.
The turbo.
Because it has great pressure pulling up, but just the jakes, it's horrible.
It's not engaging all the way to put back pressure against the. It's not doing its job for the third stage of jakes.
Okay, I mean, it does it also on the second stage also, but I mean it's obviously less. I feel it less because it's cut down, the jaking effect. But I thought maybe it was something to do with the valve train or something,
Nope. It's that turbo.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. You have a good night, man.
You too.
I'm ready to go home. Anyhow, I think that's probably it for me, guys. Let me look at the callers here. I didn't get to bed till 4 in the morning last night. Some guy in the comments here is going crazy. Talking about anyway. Mike Slemp, if you would like to I don't know what your story is. I don't recognize who you are. But you're trying to cause a bunch of problems. That's certainly not a way to get warranty if that's what you were after. But anyway, I'll take one more caller. This guy's been on here for quite a bit. Rest of you guys, I'm sorry, man. I gotta wrap it up. Casey, you're on. Casey Cornell, you're on the air, man. What can we do for you?
Hey, thank you, man. I know you're running late tonight. Small fleet, all 12.7 Detroits. A while back, you guys had some videos about Total Seal rings.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to produce those for 12.7s?
No, we do have a deal to continue our partnership with Total Seal for all medium and light duty. They've made us a lot of different ring packs for your medium and light duty engines, but the heavy duty engines, there's just nothing out there with the EPA, and so long story short, the risk is really high. You know, so I can sell anything I want for off-road and non-highway use, and just like anybody else, right? But if the legalities of it is if we were selling hundreds of these ring sets and this and that, the argument could be made that there's no way we didn't know that they were ending up in on-highway engines, and technically, and who knows if they would ever even try and bring some up, and who knows if even they would win or anything like that. It's just too high of a too much bullshit to deal with. My plan is to get bigger than I am now, and once I'm big enough, I'm going to spend the $100,000 to do the R&D.
Okay. Well, I understand all of that because you got to cover your own, but if any motor ever needed it, I think it's a 12.7. So
yeah,
that's why I was curious.
And I agree with you 100%. If any engine needed it, it's the 12.7. So anyway,
what can you do? But I look forward to buying some kits from you and keep building the motors that I got.
You can get a hold of those there. Well, no, you can't do that. Never mind. But anyway, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I would like to continue to develop them. We still have them for all the other platforms, but not that one.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
Take care.
Bye. Anyway. All right, guys. You can find them online. You can't find Total Seal rings for big rigs online, Joel. They don't make them. I'm the only person ever to develop in a partnership with Total Seal rings for big rigs. They have them for everything else, all your medium and light duty. What is it? The Speed Air guys. The Speed Air guys, they come in all of their kits. They have a deal with Total Seal as well. But anyway, I had a good time tonight. Appreciate all the good comments. You guys over on Instagram, we appreciate you joining us. First time we've ever streamed live on Instagram. Appreciate seeing all you guys over there. So TikTok, love you long time. You guys all have a good night. I will see you next week. Same shit, 7 to 9 Central Time, Wednesday nights. I'll see you guys then. Have a good night.